Hello and welcome to Crestron Technical Institute C# tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will learn how to program a 4 series processor with an internal gateway and an external gateway. infiNET is a wireless mesh network communication with Crestron's wireless devices, such as remote controls, wireless keypads, and wireless lighting dimmers, etc. For this tutorial, we will use an MC4 as our processor. It has a built-in internal infiNET gateway. An example of an external gateway would be a Senguexer, and some examples of infiNET devices would be an HR150 shown here, or this one, the Horizon HZ KPEX-B. Our goal is to show you how we can program these wireless devices within the C# environment. Okay, let us start Visual Studio 2019 Community Version. Create a new project. Give a name to our project solution, Hardware infiNET. Then import NuGet packages, which you know from previous tutorials. We also assume that we acquired the remote to the gateway previously. At this point, I start a new Visual Studio 2019 project. Deleted the default class, class1.cs file. Since we imported NuGet packages, and we have the controlsystem.cs file for Crestron system programming. Let us define a few local variables or containers under the control system class. If I type private HR150, then my living room remote, my bedroom remote, notice that I have squiggly lines under HR150. Why is that? Well, we have not defined the using statements up here at the top. We don't have access to the class library, right? Okay, let us define the using statements for the gateway and remotes. While we are here, let us also define using statements for the Horizon keypad and for a general keypad support, just in case we need to add them later in our program. Now, let us define more local variables under the control system class. Private senRFGWEX and my RF gateway and Horizon keypad. This is for our external gateway. We could also define a generic base gateway, but this should work fine too. Notice that I did not define the internal gateway because it just exists within the control system that we are programming. Note that we are programming two different RF remote controls, one for the internal gateway, one for the external gateway. Under the initialize system method, let us subscribe to some events, but first we must instantiate the remote control with an infiNET ID of hex03. Note that this is the internal gateway within the MC4 processor, and we are adding living room remote to the internal gateway. We now subscribe to the button state change event handler and online status change event handler. Actually, it is a good idea to wrap all this code within an if block to see if the internal gateway is supported. So, we put all this code within the if block. Then, we instantiate. Subscribe to the button state change events and online status event. Using another if block, if my living room remote.register does not equal registered with success, then we can print an error log, my remote failed to register. Next, I would like to show you how to register the external gateway as well. So if you want to add a sen RFGWEX, you'll know how. If this dot supports Ethernet, then instantiate the external gateway we defined earlier with IP-ID 44. And then instantiate bedroom remote within RFID 09 to the external gateway. Next, we subscribe to button state change and online status change events, same thing we did for the internal gateway section up here. Notice that when I type the local variable name, mybedroom.buttonStateChange plus equals, then hit tab twice, this speeds the coding. This will complete the statement and create the methods below. This is a very handy feature in Visual Studio. Within another if, we check if the remote is not registered with success. Then we can print notice something like my remote failed to register. Finally, with my RFGateway.register. Next, we move to the methods for online status change and check to see if it is online or offline. Let us do the living room remote first, since this will be paired with the internal gateway. We can define another if statement here. If currentDevice.id equals 03 and currentDevice.isOnline, then indicate the system error logs. My remote is online, else my remote is offline. Next, we need to check by ID and button state. Button state is accessed by the enumerator. Which we can find by right mouse clicking on E button state, or hit F12 to see more detail. If device ID equals hex 03 and args.button.state equals eButtonState.pressed. Crestron console.println is pressed from args.button.number and repeat the button name, then add another print line with empty space. We should define another statement within this method by copying and pasting the code we just typed and then change a few things for the button state released. Now I will leave the bedroom remote button state change implementation to you as a challenge. I think you should be able to do this. Now we can build and upload and test. I can upload to the processor with Toolbox using the lightning icon, or PowerShell template, or FTP method, or we can load from the web interface. We have a lot of options here, isn't that right? Now we can press any button on the remote and see the button presses. Isn't that nice? Take a look at the output in the console window. Any button press I have on my remote control is working. Fantastic. This is all there is to it. Okay, to recap what we showed you in this tutorial. We explained how you program an infiNET EX internal and external gateway within Crestron C# environment, how to register each gateway, and demonstrate with an HR150 remote to see it in action. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more tutorials.